Imagine this: a rental property owner in your city types into Google, or even asks ChatGPT, who's the best property management company near me? If you're not showing up in that answer, you just lost a client. Today, I'll show you how to show up in Google and how to make sure AI recommends you to. Google SEO is still the foundation. If you don't show up when someone searches for a property management company in your city, you're invisible, period. But AI search is gaining traction. And here's the thing: if you're already positioned well in Google, you're well positioned to start showing up in AI search as well. It's like adding a multiplier to what you're already doing. So today, I'll give you the 4 SEO levers that help you rank well in Google, and then I'll expand into what else you need to be doing to show up in AI search. Before I go into detail, I just want to take a second and let you know, if you want help building out a custom SEO roadmap for your property management business, visit upkeepmedia.com/growth, fill out the form on that page, and a member of our team will reach out at the time that you book. We'll walk you through a customized SEO plan to help you grow your business. So let's get into it. There are 4 main pillars when it comes to SEO for your property management company. The first one is your Google business profile. You need to make sure you have a well-optimized Google business profile. The second is having owner-focused content throughout your website. The third is building backlinks to help your property management company gain more authority in the eyes of search engines. And then the fourth is creating content that help fuels bringing in more traffic from rental owners that are searching for solutions to problems they're encountering, and that help Google and AI search gain a better understanding about what your website actually covers in depth. So now let's dive into each one. The first thing we mentioned was your Google business profile. Your Google business profile is basically your storefront for rental property owners. Oftentimes, it's the first thing they see before they even click through to your website. In order to optimize it, you need to fill it out in depth. This means adding all of your service areas, going in depth on the specific services that you provide within property management, filling out the categories that you provide services in. So for example, property management company, do you also do real estate services? What types of properties do you actually manage? Filling out frequently asked questions so that when people see your Google business profile, they can get answers to questions that people commonly have. These are all things that you need to complete in order to have a well filled out Google business profile. Then you also need to make sure that you upload photos regularly to your Google business profile. Don't just put a photo of your logo. Upload photos of your team, photos of different properties you manage, photos of the local area, photos of your office, anything that helps people get to better understand your business, basically get a better look behind the scenes of what's going on in your business. Now, once you fill out the photo section, then you want to go and start adding in posts. You need to be posting regularly on your Google business profile so that Google sees that you're keeping it active. They like to see that you're using their properties. The more you post on your Google business profile, over time, the more exposure they're going to give it to in people that are searching for a property management company. Now, the next thing that's super important for your Google business profile is actively soliciting reviews. You need to get a lot of reviews on your Google business profile in order to get exposure with Google. Aim to get between 50 to 200 reviews for your business profile. That's usually around the mark that we see from most metropolitan cities where you're going to be able to start to gain real traction. Now, if you can get more than that, by all means do so. It's really important that you get those reviews, A, because it's going to help your SEO, and B, because it's going to help people feel more confident in reaching out to your property management company. Now, the reason why your Google business profile is so important is because in local search results, there are 3 locations that show up in the map section up top. Those 3 locations are the locations that Google deems to be best for answering what the person was searching for. And usually that coincides with the company that has the Google business profile that is the most up-to-date, the most regularly maintained, and has the highest quantity and quality of reviews. Now, the second thing that is a pillar of SEO are owner-focused pages throughout your website. Think of your website as the hub for your property management company. When people find out about you, they're going to go to your website. Now, the issue we often see is your website is speaking to tenants. Tenants are generally going to find your property management company when they're looking to rent out a place. Generally, they're going to find you on rental listing sites like Zillow. Your website should be focused on the rental property owner. That is the primary reason for its existence. It is to drive owner leads to reach out to your property management company. So what you need to make sure of is that all of the content that is on your website is geared towards owners first and foremost, and then you can have inner pages throughout the site that are geared towards tenants. So here are some things you can do to fix your property management company's website. The first is you need to have detailed pages about each location that you service. So for example, if you service Dallas-Fort Worth, you would want to have a page that goes in depth on how you provide services for property management in Dallas. You would want to have another page that goes in depth if you provide services in Plano, and then a different page that goes in depth if you provide services in Frisco, Texas, and so forth. So for each area you service, you want to go in depth about that local area. Another thing you want to fix is your content depth. We see tons of sites where they have 200, 300 words of content that really don't answer any questions that people have. You want to go in depth with your content. When I say in depth, use a minimum standpoint around 750 words. And again, this is not an exact science, this is just giving you a general guideline. But then you want to have pages that go in depth for different questions that people often ask. So a common one is, what are your fees? How do they work? Have a page on your website that goes in depth on that topic. Or another question might be, how do you handle security deposits? Have another page on your site that goes in depth on the topic of security deposits in your local market. Now, another thing you want to have on your website are what we call conversion points. What you want to do is give people a clear opportunity to reach out to your property management company. Now, don't just have it call us to get a quote. They know they can reach out to you if they want to get pricing, but give them a reason to reach out other than just pricing. So for someone that isn't just shopping for the price, they have a reason to reach out. So a popular one you'll see is offering a free rental analysis. Another thing you can do is offer up a free rental property owner consultation. You can also have different guides for rental property owners answering common pain points that you see your target clientele have. So if you have downloadable guides through your website, that's another reason why someone would leave you their contact information. Now, another thing you want to do is look to add on video content throughout your site. Videos keep people engaged for longer. If they stay on your website longer, Google tracks that. If they see people are staying on your website longer, it's a signal to them that people like what they're seeing on your website. And as a result, it eventually helps increase your rankings in their search engine as well. When you tie all of these things together, that's what helps your website eventually start to gain more traction in Google. Having strong owner-focused content, creating video content to keep people on your website for longer, and having different conversion mechanisms that get people to actually reach out is what's going to help move the needle in terms of SEO for your property management company. So now let's talk about the third pillar, and that is backlinks. This is an important one because it's what we see most property management companies miss out on. A backlink is like a vote of authority in the eyes of Google. If you can get other websites out there to reference your website, Google deems it to be more important, more trustworthy. And as a result, they feel more comfortable showing your website higher up in their search results. So now let's talk about how to actually generate backlinks for your property management website. So first place you can look to do so are local directories. Getting listed on BBB or getting listed in a local Chamber of Commerce website, those types of links carry authority with Google. Another thing is through industry partnerships. So getting listed on different industry related websites or with vendors that you work closely with. So if you often work with a particular plumber in your local market, asking them if they can send a backlink to your website will help with the SEO and backlink campaign for your company. Another good type of backlink to acquire are through local sponsorships. So if there's a golf tournament and it happens in your market every single year and they have a website, sponsoring that golf tournament and getting a backlink from their website to yours will carry SEO benefit. Or if there is a local charity and they have an event every year and you sponsor it and you ask them to leave a backlink from their website to yours, that will also have SEO benefits for your company. Fourth type of backlink you can look to acquire is what we call guest posts or guest content. Basically reaching out to local area businesses, reaching out to businesses that are in the similar type of industry but in other markets, and trying to acquire a backlink from their website by offering up to provide free relevant content for them. So maybe you reach out to a local mortgage broker and discuss financing with them and what you see investors in your local market doing in terms of financing, and write up a really good article for their website in exchange. And all you ask is that they leave a backlink to your website from within that article. Now remember, it's about quality, not quantity when it comes to backlinks. One authoritative link from a really authoritative local website can move the needle more than 50 spammy directory links. So keep that in mind when you're building backlinks. You need to make sure that you're building them from reputable sources, not from some random site on the internet that gets no traffic. Without backlinks, your website is isolated. With them, Google starts to trust you, and AI search will as well. So now let's discuss the fourth pillar when it comes to SEO, and that's content and reviews. Think of your Google business page, owner-focused content, and backlinks like the engine. Then content and reviews are the fuel that keeps the engine running. So first let's discuss content. As I mentioned earlier, owner-focused content is super important. What you want to do is create educational style content geared towards rental property owners in your local area. Create written content and video content geared towards answering common questions that rental property owners have. So for example, how do you screen tenants? Or another one might be, how do I market a vacant rental property? Then let's talk about reviews. Reviews are super important, not only for your Google business profile, but also for SEO in terms of getting Google to trust you, and because AI search takes that into factor as well. AI looks at a variety of different sources for reviews, but one of those sources does come down to Google, and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about AI search in just a moment. Now, the third thing I want to mention when it comes to this section are YouTube videos. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and Google loves YouTube because they own it. So what you want to look to do is create YouTube videos regularly, and then take those videos and embed them on your website as well. This will give you a better chance of showing up when people are searching for a specific topic that you covered in Google search. So not only can you show up from written blog content, you can also show up with videos that you've created. The companies who consistently produce content month after month and who consistently solicit reviews month after month are the companies that are making big pushes and growing their business. So that's what you want to look to do in order to emulate that type of success. So now that we've covered the 4 pillars of SEO for Google, let's expand further and talk about AI search. Things like Google's AI overview section, or Perplexity, or ChatGPT. These are all important factors towards getting your property management company more exposure. People are going to these types of AI searches and looking up things like, who's the best property management company in my city? Or how much does property management cost in my area? These are important things that you need to show up for in order to get as much exposure to rental property owners in your local area. So here are a few things that are really important to also show up in AI search. The first is what we call topical authority. This is important for SEO, but it's also very important for AI search. And this is all about making your website the go-to expert in a particular domain. So in your case, it would be for property management in your specific city. And how you do this is by creating in-depth content that answers questions that rental property owners have. Like, what are the fees in your local area? What do you do when it comes to tenant screening? How do you evict a tenant? These are all different topics that when you combine them as a whole, make your website a really in-depth resource that rental property owners would benefit from. And as a result, AI search picks up on that as well. The next thing that AI search looks for is structured data, or what we call schema. You need to add schema markup to your website, going in depth on the services you provide, your hours of service, your business info, your reviews. Schema is basically how you tell AI, this is what we do, this is where we do it, and this is how we do it. Now, the third thing that AI search likes to see is what we call EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And how we do this is by demonstrating that your company is credible. How you can do that is by having different logos and write-ups on your website about organizations that you're a member of. So for example, if you're a member of NARPM, you can have that on your website. If you're a member of Better Business Bureau, you can have that on your website as well. That helps add on credibility for your business and gives AI search a little bit more comfort in recommending your business. Another thing you can look to do is feature case studies. This helps signal credibility and experience to AI search. Not to mention, it's also good for rental property owners that visit your site and see examples of other rental property owners you've worked with and the success you've had with them. The fourth thing you want to look to have is multimedia content. AI pulls from text, images, and especially from videos. A well-optimized YouTube video embedded on your site could literally be the source that AI cites in an answer to a rental property owner's question. Now, the fifth thing that's super important are reviews. AI looks at not just the reviews, but what people are actually saying in the reviews as well. They're looking for overall sentiment of people's experience when working with your property management company. If dozens of reviews mention things like, help me increase my cash flow, or great communication. AI uses this as a source that this must be a credible company that we can confidently display in our AI search results. Now, if you're already doing well in Google, stacking these things on top of it will only help you be miles ahead of your competition when it comes to AI search. So to wrap things up, here's the takeaway. SEO from Google can still generate tons of owner leads, and it is the foundation where you want to be focusing at the current moment. But AI search is growing rapidly. And if you're already doing well in Google, this is your opportunity to start to get ahead of the competition and focus on AI search so that you can start to gain an advantage over your competitors in that area of marketing as well. Stack both of them together and you'll be generating dozens of rental owner leads per month. If you'd like help growing your property management company, reach out to us at Upkeep Media. We offer a free property management lead gen session. Visit upkeepmedia.com/growth to book a time that works for you to speak. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one.